sake! Okay, so I have a lot to say about Spider-Man Brand New Day. So much about this movie has been released in just the past few days, and I have thoughts. And there's been a recent big confirmation from Sony Pictures that helps us understand this movie's connection to Avengers Doomsday and Spider-Man's potential role in that next Avengers film, and how they could be connected via post-credit scenes, so we'll be talking about that. But first, let's talk about this new costume, an all-cloth, practical costume without all the bells and whistles that we've come to expect in an Iron Man Jr. Spidey suit. Now the suit is more like his predecessor suits and more comic accurate. And I'm sorry to say, actually no, I'm not sorry to say it, I've never really been impressed with the Spider-Man suits that we have seen in the MCU, and I've never understood them feeling the need to have so many suits in one movie. It's almost, they do it just to sell toys. Now the Civil War and Homecoming suit, it actually wasn't that bad. It looked pretty slick. In fact, I liked how it could like tighten to his body, and I love the moving eyes that show his expression. I just wasn't crazy about like the black accents on the suit. And there's of course the suit being loaded with gadgets and AI, which I'm glad they're doing away with that. Don't get me wrong, I think that was the right move at the right time. It would make sense that Tony would provide his protege with a fully tricked out suit, and having that Iron Spider suit in Infinity War was fucking awesome, and it was totally the right place to have it when you have Spider-Man in space fighting Thanos. Iron Spider suit, very cool. But when we went back to a standalone Spider-Man film and him on Earth, the suit just felt way too overpowered, and it made the character less interesting. And I have to say, I also wasn't big on that red and black suit in Far From Home, or the Spider-Monkey suit, or the dumb Inside Out suit in No Way Home, but the suit with the golden spider was actually pretty dope. But the best suit by far that we have seen in the MCU for Holland's Spider-Man was that final suit at the end of No Way Home. And that's pretty much the suit that we are getting in Brand New Day, albeit a few little differences here and there, but it's mostly the same. And I have to say, I also love these giant web shooters. They may be a little too big, but hey, I'm here for it. I love how shiny and tactical they look, so I think it's pretty cool. Brand New Day, they are filming in real locations, not everything on a fucking green screen or soundstage like they did with No Way Home. Granted, they were filming that during the pandemic, so I understand, but it's going to look so much better now that they're actually like out there making this movie. I mean, they've even got Spider-Man actually swinging from a crane on a truck, driving down a city street. Will it look cool on camera? I don't know. John Watts, who directed the Home trilogy, he says that it doesn't work. They have done that in The Amazing Spider-Man. I personally think the best swings were in the Raimi films, and I'm actually not sure how they did those. I think it was CG, but we'll just have to see. I hope they embrace whatever method looks the best. That's what they need to do, and by best I mean how they looked in the Raimi films, and The Amazing Spider-Man 2 actually had really good swinging too, and I think those were all CG. I personally have not been impressed with the swinging in the MCU, so I'm glad they're trying something new, and hopefully it looks good. Now, on top of all that, we have also gotten official confirmation that yes, Mark Ruffalo is returning as Bruce Banner, the Hulk, and we've gotten official confirmation on Jon Bernthal's return as the Punisher. I think it's awesome that these two are in the movie. If you had told me as a kid, hey, there's a Spider-Man, Punisher, and the Hulk movie, I would have been losing my shit. Like, literally shitting my pants. Now, my only concern is that Spider-Man movies, for some reason, always feel the need to overload the movies with characters, usually too many villains, and in the MCU era of Spider-Man, Peter always has like an MCU alum at his side, such as Tony, or Happy, or Nick Fury, Maria Hill, Doctor Strange, and that's fun, and I like that interconnectivity with the MCU, but I really want Brand New Day to be a Spider-Man film reminiscent of the old school movies that I grew up with. God, I sound old. I'm filming this on my birthday, so I feel especially old today. Guess how old I am in the comments. I'll let you know if you're right. I do think that pendulum, however, is beginning to swing back. Swing, get it? I think it's beginning to swing back, whereas when Spider-Man was first, joining the MCU, we wanted to see those big extravagant crossovers because we'd never gotten that before. But now we've gotten our feel of that, him being in the MCU. He's been there for like 10 years almost. And I think that we are ready to get that grounded story and just see Spider-Man be Spider-Man. And, I don't think Punisher and the Hulk being in the movie will take away from this being that street level level Spider-Man centric story, or at least I hope it doesn't. I just also really hope that they don't feel the need to add like 3 fucking villains into the mix for them to all fight against. Now, speaking of villains, Matt Gargan's Scorpion, played by Nacho Varga himself, is reported to return. Now, I am totally down for them doing Scorpion. He is one of the classic Spidey villains that we have yet to see on the big screen, so I think he is like the obvious choice, and then they can have J. Jonah Jameson recruiting Scorpion and sending him after Spider-Man, just like in the comics. I just really hope that they stop there and don't bring in like Mr. Negative and Shocker.
Calling yourself the Shocker. I'm the Shocker. I shock people. What is this, pro wrestling?
And a bunch of other foes. No disrespect to those villains, just I just want one. I want one villain, okay? Granted, if they are tying this movie into what's happening with Daredevil Born Again and Mayor Fisk, Kingpin, him putting together his own team of like masked vigilantes to take down Spider-Man and Punisher and Hulk, could be kind of cool. And you know, on the flip side, if it's just Scorpion going up against like Punisher, the Hulk, and Spider-Man, he'd be pretty up shit creek without a paddle. So I guess he would need some help, but then it just becomes this big group of heroes versus this big group of villains, and that's just not what I want this movie to be. Now, in the middle of me actually making this video, it has been reported the villain of Brand New Day is actually a villain that has yet to have been floated, like in rumors and reports or anything. So I wonder who this secret villain could be. Let me know who you think it could be down in the comments below. I'd love to hear your theories. Trying to think. Can't be Rhino. They're not going to do Rhino, are they? Now, I am also happy to report that Sony has confirmed that Spider-Man Brand New Day will be coming out in July of next year, meaning that it will be coming out before Avengers Doomsday. And remember, that wasn't always the case. Once upon a time, this movie was coming out after Doomsday, and following Doomsday's delay, some speculated that Brand New Day might get delayed as well, to where it would still be coming out after Doomsday. But no, it will be the next MCU film, and it will be our lead-in to Avengers Doomsday. And you know, with the development of Brand New Day and the writing of the script happening amidst that big pivot from Kang to Doom and Avengers the Kang Dynasty to Avengers Doomsday, I do wonder how much Brand New Day had to adapt to those changes, or if this movie is just so disconnected from everything else going on that they didn't really have to change much. And I mean, you would think that Brand New Day, going from coming out after Doomsday to now coming out before Doomsday, that's a pretty significant change that you would think would perhaps alter the story. I mean, we saw that happen with No Way Home and Multiverse of Madness. They got flipped around, which resulted in their scripts having to change. But perhaps Brand New Day was always going to take place mostly before Doomsday, regardless of if it came out before or after Doomsday. I mean, we saw them do that with Ant-Man and the Wasp. It mostly takes place before Infinity War, but it came out after Infinity War. So perhaps like with Ant-Man and the Wasp and its post-credit scene connecting to the ending of Infinity War, which had already come out, perhaps the plans for Brand New Day have always been that it would end with a connection to Doomsday, regardless of if it came out before or after. Now, my personal hope for how the movie might end and lead into Doomsday is to see Peter, like, looking over the city after saving it and feeling happy in his decision to become a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, but still missing his friends and his old life with the other Avengers, and then boom, giant tear in space, Doombots roll in, or maybe he sees the Fantastic Four rocket coming in, just like we saw at the end of Thunderbolts. And as far as post-credit scenes go, you know, the Russo brothers, they have directed the last 2 post-credit scenes, the one in Thunderbolts and the one in Fantastic Four, so I think it's all but certain that they will likely direct the post-credit scene of Brand New Day as well. Maybe that scene could even be Peter coming face-to-face with Doom, who he recognizes as his old mentor, Mr. Stark, but it's actually Victor Von Doom. But hey, those are just my thoughts and theories. I would love to hear yours down in the comments below. Are you excited for Brand New Day? Do you like the new suit? You know, I saw a post on Twitter or something saying, which movie are you more excited for, Brand New Day or Doomsday? And I just responded yes. So I'm excited. I'm excited to talk about these movies with you guys. So if you're new here, be sure to subscribe, hit the bell so you get notified every time I upload a new video. I've been your host, Colton Ogburn, and I'll see you next time. Bye!
You're still here. It's over. Go home.